Okay, so it was 2016. I was on my way to. I was curious about Area 51.
Ah, Area 51. That's where the Roswell incident happened.
No, 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 no. This is what's annoying. Everyone gets this wrong. So Roswell is in New Mexico. Area 51 is in the deserts of Nevada. Area 51 has more of a secret military UFO alien thing going on. Roswell is responsible for a supposed UFO crash in 1967, I think. I think I'm right there.
I think it might be earlier than that, Saj, but it was certainly a long time ago.
40s or 60s, something like that. It was an odd
I think it
date.
was 49, 48, 49. No, maybe 47. When was the Roswell incident? Someone in the chat, Google it and tell me when was the Roswell incident. I think it was 1947. But yeah, what did you discover then?
Oh, so basically, I was like, I don't know how. I always used to search for things on before when I'm traveling. I'm the type of person that tries to go to strange places rather than the typical touristy places. Everyone's accustomed to. I don't want to be surrounded. I've done all of that. I've done all of the touristy things many times. So I thought I found something. It was a Wild West adventure tour, and it was sounded like a bit of a comedy, really, but it was really a trip to Area 51. But the actual gate post, I don't know if you've seen it, Julian. The gate
What?
post that says no trespassing via.
So you got as far as the gate to Area 51. Was there a gatekeeper
That's all
there?
you could do. That's all you could do. Not the gate. I mean, like it's like a line that you cross. Now, let me tell you about how crazy that day was because. So I booked this tour, right? And I'm thinking, this is weird. Is it actually legit? What's going to happen here? So this guy pulls up in what we would call a little caravan, but in America they would call it like a little bus. It was like about 6, 7, yeah, it's like 6, 7, 8 seater kind of 4x4. It was a car that could fit about 5, 6 people in it, and I think there was 2 people from England there as well, and it was me, 2 people from England, and another 2 people. I think it was 5 of us. So he's telling us the tour guy is like a kind of like. I think he's Bulgarian guy, and he's very like odd, like conspiracy wacko type of guy, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
I mean, so he's taking us for a drive, and he's like, "Come with us, come, I'll take you to Area 51's." Like the only closest we can get is to the bit where the guy sits at the top of the hill with a gun in his hand in his truck, waiting for you to pass that line so he can shoot you. It's crazy. So as we're driving, he takes us to these very fascinating, like deserted places. Then he tells us, like, if you was to get stranded here, just keep in mind that you will never know your way back because of how confusing and how the sat nav loses GPS here and everything like that. So you're kind of like, just be glad that you're on this tour rather than on your. It's in a little town called Rachel, Nevada, a very small town, Roswell.
Wow.
I mean, not Roswell. Area 51.
Okay.
See, I'm getting confused now.
Was this before there was the online campaign to storm Area 51?
Yeah. It was before that, and I was actually going to join that a couple of years later, but what had happened is it was before that. So when the guy was taking us, he was telling us about his personal experiences. He was camped outside before, waiting for things to happen, and things happened. Have you ever seen the sign, the extraterrestrial highway?
No.
Okay, so as you get closer to it, obviously that's how you know you're going the right way. And it's just a fine, easy sign that's got all kinds of people on their feet. Yeah, people have actually jacked the sign away and all sorts, vandalized just because it's so conspiracy theorist out there. They just love that type of stuff,
But what is the element of truth in all of this? You've been there. You've heard the hype. Do you think there's really alien spaceship in there, or was it just a weather balloon, or is it some technology that's more advanced than they are telling us that they have?
I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is what makes this thing more bizarre is that no president, actually no, okay, I'll correct myself. One president, Clinton, apparently had gone there, but even he couldn't talk about what went on there.
Bill Clinton went there.
Well, supposedly, I mean, I don't know if this was before the Monica Lewinsky thing or after.
Or during.
Yeah,
I did not go to Area 51.
Did he say that?
I don't know what he said. He denies most things.
No, so basically what it is like this whole thing about a president. If you're, come on, look at it like this. If you were president of a country, would you be restricted to go somewhere in your own country? Think about it. Isn't that weird?
Well, look, Donald J. Trump talked about the deep state. He talked about putting Hillary in jail. He never did. He talked about draining the swamp. The fact that he hasn't done that, does that suggest that he is just a figurehead and that the people behind him are pulling the strings? Maybe they're unseen. Maybe they're his advisors. Does the president actually have that much power? Did George W. Bush actually know what he was doing, or was he just a figurehead? How much power does the president have?
He did 9/11, so...
Thank you, Saj. Do you think you really think that George W. Bush is capable of orchestrating an operation like the one you just briefly mentioned?
Well, him or Tim Osborne were
responsible. I think the latter is more likely, but I wonder how deep it goes.
So what is? Let me break it down.
Go on then.
What happened is we were driving, and then he tells us about this. Then he told us about. Oh my God, this is crazy. He told us about a previous tour person, just like him, that drove. I was talking. You can see this on YouTube as well, guys. If you want to check it out, it's a pretty interesting video where the tour guy drove. He got distracted by the tour people talking to the, people, customers, and he drove past the line.
He crossed the line into Area 51.
No, that's the thing though. You know that line is being pushed back even further, if that makes sense. So even though you can't even see anything. All you can see is just the suspense of just where you are and just feel that energy of just being close to it. But when I say close, I'm talking probably still another 20, 15 miles, I think.
Oh, really? So that's when you go to visit Area 51 as a tourist, the closest you're going to get is 15 miles.
Well, probably...
I've been a lot closer to Stonehenge when I drove past it on the motorway.
Well, it's probably even more than that because it's one of those type of places that is just, when you're driving there, basically, like, going back to what I was saying about the extraterrestrial highway, on your way there, there's a place called, check this one out, it's called the Alien Inn.
The Alien Inn. Wow. So look, I can understand places cashing in on the tourism and it's all a bit of a novelty, but does that detract from, is there something being covered up? What do you think the truth is? Lay it on the line.
I think the truth is how much you can question that about a lot of things in the world in terms of military things. How close can you get to any kind of military or any kind of thing that is before you're being told you get prosecuted or you're breaking the law. I've worked in some confidential buildings in my life and been just as a security officer in certain places, but that's been nothing compared to like these type of places. These type of places, some guy's own grandma would not tell him what she did there.
Wow.
And the guy that crossed the line, his life became, they ransacked his house, everything. They just went crazy. And then you know what? Fortunately for him, he was recording on a camera in the van. So the van showed him getting distracted by the people and crossing the line. If he didn't have that video footage, he would have. I think he left his job. He got too stressed after a couple of months. He didn't want to do it no more. His life hell.
Here's a question, Saj. If you're saying that Area 51 is completely impenetrable, you could not get in. People storming it could not stand a chance of breaking and entering. Why is the southern border not just as secure? Why can illegal aliens enter from Mexico into America, but American citizens cannot enter an area in their own country?
Yeah, but that's capitalism for you.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why? Because freedom of movement leads to cheaper labour?
Cheap labour.
Okay, cheap labour. All right. But I thought it was the other end of this political spectrum that wanted open borders and freedom of movement for everybody. Are they shooting themselves in the foot by just saying, well, let everyone come in because it will just drive down the wages? Yeah, I've never understood that one. And is that a fair comparison, or is the border just? You've seen the border with Mexico, right? Have you crossed it?
Yeah, I have Tijuana. Yeah.
How porous is it? How easy is it to cross the border outside the legal cross points?
Okay, so basically, when I crossed it before the Donald Trump era, it was, I don't know if I've told you this off the air, but it's basically like it was very easy to cross in and out. I mean, it's still no, it's not easy now. I can't say it's easy, but basically, I was walking past a line of people, Mexican people, that were trying to waiting in the line to get into America, whether it's for the day or permanently, I don't know, but there was mile-long queue, man, of people. And I looked at it as I was entering Tijuana for the day, and I thought, am I going to get back in that queue? And yes, that was the case. I had to get back in that queue. It was a whole day process. And I got back into the country okay, but even then I was nervous because I thought, do I need any documents? How easy was it for me to just get in? I just walked into Mexico, and I'm going to walk back into America? And that's literally what it was. I don't even think I got my passport checked or anything. I can't remember any of that. Now, the Trump era, I walked out just to see the difference. I swear to you, it was like a ghost town. No line at all of anyone.
Going one way or the other?
In either way. And then there was it looked like there was more customer service people just checking you out or making sure that you're legit or whatever and checking your details and stuff. Boy, has that been... What a change. I could not believe it. If I could compare... I took a picture. I'll try to show you it. And I don't know if I took a picture after. The picture can't explain it. You got to be there and just see how different it is, you know?
Oh, that's amazing. So even though he didn't build the wall that he said he was going to, you noticed a stark contrast between pre-Trump and Trump era at the border.
Yeah, and just to jump over the skipping rope into the Area 51 topic again. Okay. Basically, even when we got there, right, the guy goes to us that in the floor, they are tracking the speed. They know the car, how many people are coming, and exactly how far we are and how close we are.
Wow.
They're tracking the car to the floor. They have sensors in the floor, man.
I wonder what other technology they've got that they're not telling us. Do you sense that there is technology way ahead?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I dropped my hat a bit past the line, and the guy was freaking out. Said, "Pick your hat up. We're in big trouble if you go past the line. If you go past the line." That's all he would talk about: the line. You know, it gets boring after a while.
Wow, is that the tightest security situation you've ever been in?
Oh man, the situation is so tense, man. It's like you can't hear a thing. All you could see is a army car up on the hill, and the hill is not even far, but it looks like it's far. It's like an illusion.
I remember I was about to cross a border in the Middle East one time, and we got a taxi there. Then I got on a bus. There were so many trips before you even got to the border. It was unclear where the border was, and at one point we were lined up rather like the lines that you were mentioning, and I was plucked out of the line, asked to plonk I had a big dark green military looking rucksack, probably not the greatest thing to wear in the Middle East. I was plucked out of the line by this soldier, and he made me take my bag off, and I placed it down behind some little kind of concrete niche. It was as if they were about to do a controlled explosion on it, and it made me turn around. He searched me up and down, and they looked in the bag and opened it, and I got back in the line, and that was it.
I mean, was this before you was Jewish or after you was Jewish when you left Judaism? Was it before or after you left Judaism?
But Saj, my religious beliefs are my own business.
Sorry. So I thought
that's all right.
On here, I had a bit of a moment there. Sorry.
Dardasha is saying it's I wonder if this is the new corona on the news, the new chapter. No, they're talking about the protests. What are we about to see in 2020? Yeah.
51. It is.
Do you think so?
I mean, it's a kind of corona in its own sort. It's keeping people distant, ain't it?
Well, look. Yes, it is. Is this next story? I remember when 9/11 happened. Certain people said it's a good day to bury bad news. Whenever there's one story dominating the headlines, whatever it might be, whether it's corona, whether it's the riots that are happening, there'll be other things going on. The world doesn't stop just because we're looking in one direction. Like a good magician, when you're looking at this hand, he's doing something with the other hand. And I wonder what's happening in the other hand while we're all looking this one way. And the people that are free thinkers, independently minded, or a bit contraire, will always be looking for that other hand. Well, we don't want to talk to them or about them, but I understand why people go to extremes in their search for the truth, and many of them end up down the rabbit hole. Many of them end up down a dead end. I think there's lots of disinformation out there, and maybe some of these stories that we've talked about, we've had a joke and a laugh about it, and aliens, and you go there and you buy the souvenirs, but could that be disinformation?
Well,
Saj, hold that thought. We've got a caller on the line.
Oh,
so let's welcome a caller, and you're through to myself and Saj. Who's this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Is that Hannibal?
Hannibal
Hannibal Ross, true. Well, the man who coined your nickname is here. Welcome to the airwaves. Sorry, Hannibal, I hope you can hear me. You've got myself and Saj here as well. Trying to merge the calls for you. How are you doing?
I'm good, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm okay. Do you think any truth is being covered up? Is there any sleight of hand going on at the moment? We're talking about censorship and secrecy, and Saj has been to Area 51. It doesn't get much more secret than that.
The whole world is run by secret societies. I don't know if you're aware of secret societies.
I'm aware of some of them.
Many of them. One of the most well-known ones is called the Freemasons Society.
Now, this is a good question. If they're that well known, how can they be a secret society?
Yeah, because they're bound by secrecy, by a pact, basically. Once you go inside, you go into a brotherhood, and you got to keep the secrets. And it's based on different levels, you see.
And they would say, we're not a secret society, we're a society with secrets. But it must go deeper than that. And if there are secret societies, presumably there are secret societies that we haven't heard of. And how can we learn about them if they are secret? And are they really pulling the strings, or am I just a tinfoil hat-wearing lunatic?
Pulling the strings. I mean, one of the biggest ones is called the Bilderberg meeting. Do you know about the Bilderbergs?
I'm going to let Saj answer that question. Saj, what do you know about the Bilderberg meeting?
Do you say Goldberg? He's a wrestler, right?
No, the Bilderberg. And there's also what's Bohemian Grove? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, it's in California, basically. They do this meeting once a year where all the top leaders of the world, they meet up there. And they have homosexual orgies. You know, they're homosexuals, so they like to have orgies.
Okay.
Yeah, they're homosexual, so they have homosexual orgies. And
Yeah.
they also do child
I mean,
sacrifices.
okay. I mean,
I know it's
allegedly.
far-fetched, but this is the truth, you know?
Well, we know that powerful people.
It's all secrets.
Is that?
Well,
Go on, Saj.
this is the truth according to Alex Jones, who I used to not idolize but follow a lot.
No,
Now I
it's
can't
not
stand the
according to
guy.
Alex Jones. I've done my independent research, and I found this out through many different sources. You know?
But
Yeah, I mean, I like to believe it. I do, trust me, and I probably still do. I've told people about it recently, but
Well, the
Alex
reason
Jones is just
I
a bit
believe
over the
it's
top.
because there's millions of children that go missing every year all around the world, and they're never seen again. Millions, you know?
now,
So you gotta ask yourself, where did these children end up? And why did they disappear?
well, there was a man who killed himself in prison a while ago, who had a lot of information where he's still alive. He might have ratted some people out. Is it the case that powerful people cannot be bought, cannot be bribed? You can't bribe a millionaire with money because he's got enough money. So he can only be blackmailed. So certain powerful people are exposed to these horrific abuses of children, etc., that you mentioned, and then are recorded, videotaped, or whatever it is, and then it's used to blackmail them.
You know about the emails of Clinton emails where they basically were the Pizzagate emails? Do you know about that?
Enlighten us a little bit. I know that Hillary Clinton was very careless with her emails.
Was found out they were sending emails to each other, and they were using code words, Pizzagate.
Now, people will say that one was debunked. Now, yeah, again, this could be a case of disinformation. They throw a little red herring in there so that it can be dismissed and ridiculed, and then anyone that's on the right track, who's on the verge of exposing the truth, will be portrayed as just another nutter. Or you believe in Pizzagate, you believe in flat Earth, you believe in the whatever. But really, there is an element of truth to this, and these stories are thrown in there to muddy the water.
They make you look as though you're crazy if you come in touch with the truth.
But would you not think, Hannibal, if you were hiding the truth, wouldn't you want to muddy the water? Wouldn't that be a legitimate technique?
Example, yeah? Jimmy Savile, yeah? You know Jimmy Savile?
Yes, I was a big fan when I was young. Sad to say.
Pedophile. But what they used to do is say you knew the truth. If you said anything, they'll just brush you to the side, or they'll just stop giving you work, or they'll say, oh, he's crazy. Even though they all knew that he was a pedophile and he was molesting children for over 20 years. You see? So this is a perfect example of what they do to people that encounter the truth. I mean, Jimmy Savile is a prolific pedophile, you know? Prolific.
Yes, he was. And
over 20 years, and he was very close with the Queen and the King and the Buckinghamshire and all of that. He was very, very high up in the ranks.
He was. Now, look, is it...
Example, if you don't believe me, look at Jimmy Savile. How do you think he got away with molesting hundreds of children for over 20 years? And he was high ranking. He was mingling with Tony Blair and the Queen and all of that. How do you think he never got caught? Think about it.
Well, as you say, it seems like it was common knowledge, and no one did anything. But am I right to suggest that this goes on in powerful circles because it is used as a tool to blackmail powerful people, and that's why people like Epstein?
Record them molesting children and sacrificing.
All right, we mustn't be too graphic, Hannibal Rastra, because it can trigger the algorithm, and then the video gets possibly questioned for whatever. But we get your point. We get your point.
Censorship,
Yeah, that's another thing about censorship. Sometimes when you're trying to expose the truth about something, they will catch you on a technicality. That's why I always try and say, everyone on here, try not to swear, try not to mention. No. I know you haven't. You're always very good. But I don't want to give anyone an excuse to take the video down when we're on the verge. And this comes back to censorship and cover up. They will get you on a technicality. They will silence your truth because you use banned language. They will give you another false theory that's plausible, then prove it to be false and say, well, there you go, all your theories are false because you believed that one. That's why we've got to be very careful. I know you're a very well-researched individual. You've spent a lot of time on this. That's why I always appreciate your input.
I've been doing this for years, so what I'm talking about is truth because I've done research for many, many years, you know?
Yes, I know. I appreciate it. In the chat, Brian Cannot Tell is saying, I think we are a little distracted here. More important is not who are high-level pawns, but who just locked down the whole world, who ordered every country to obey. Well, if you want to go down that road, people ask me, do you think such and such is a hoax? I say, look, never waste what do they say? Never waste a good catastrophe, or never let a catastrophe go to waste.
This saying that the whole world is a stage, you know that? Do you know that saying?
And each of us play a part.
Exactly. So it's like everyone is an actor and everybody's acting. You know what I mean?
Well, we try and keep it real on this show. Dardasha is saying there are elements of truth.
This is no acting. This is the truth, and this is who I am. You know.
That's why we appreciate you, and it is very people find it very difficult to just be themselves. It's very unnerving. You know how people don't like the sound of their own voice. If you record your voice when you're young on one of those old cassette recorders and you play it back and you think, oh my God, I don't want to hear that. It is very hard to look yourself in the mirror, fully naked, and just say, here I am. This is me. But try it later. Dardasha is saying there's elements of truth, but also there's always a reason for people to disagree, then fight, then kill one another, sadly. Yeah, Pat Ryan is correcting me. Never let a good crisis go to waste. See, even the word slipped out of my mind, even though I've been saying it several times today. Never let a good crisis go to waste.
The political overlords, the people that are running this whole society, they love crisis. And there's something called the Hegelian dialect. Do you know about the Hegelian dialect?
The Hegelian dialect.
Yeah, do you know about it?
I've heard of it. Tell me about the Hegelian dialect, Hannibal.
And then they wait for the reaction, and then they bring in their own solution, which is an agenda which they already had a long time ago, which they wanted to implement in the first place.
And I hazard a guess you would call that a satanic agenda.
Oh yeah, definitely. They are satanics, meaning they worship Lucifer and Satan. You know, that is who they got this.
I wonder if you can
the humanity, basically, enslave them.
I wonder if you can tell me, Hannibal, the difference between a Satanist and a Luciferian. Is there a difference?
No, not really. It's all the same, really. Just they call themselves Luciferian because they like to claim themselves they're illuminated, when really they're not illuminated, because to mean illuminated, meaning you have the light, you are a light being. They're not light being, they are the dark ones. So they're following the left-hand path, which is Satanism, which is all about doing what they want. You know what I mean?
I always get as a
Aleister Crowley, you know about that?
I know the name Aleister Crowley. Was he a theosophist? Was he a theosophist?
Yeah, he was a cultist, he was a Satanist, he was a pedophile as well.
Well, I hope he's not around to sue you. I think he's dead, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he is.
Now, as a left-handed person, one of the most oppressed minorities in the world, we are only 10%. I often find it very offensive when people say, oh, the left hand is the evil side, it's the unclean hand. And in Latin, the Latin word for the left, well, you probably know what it is. What's Latin for left?
Well, it's in Portuguese it's esquerda.
Esquerda, okay.
I'm not too sure.
What is it in French?
I mean, in Portuguese it's esquerda.
Okay. In Latin, it's sinistra, or in Italian, sinistra. So the left is sinister. And
Yeah. I hear you.
I think, really, it's the right that is sinister. I think left-handed people are more creative, are more in touch with their emotions. That's why we're generally better at music. Many artists are left-handed, and it is the right-handed people that dominate the world, that have reduced everything to literalism and want to make religion void of any spirituality and want to make the words just mean what they literally mean and nothing more. But that's my backlash. But then again, left-handed people use the right side of their brain, and right-handed people use the left side of their brain. It's cross-lateral.
Right hemisphere thinking and there's left hemisphere thinking. The right hemisphere deals with your artistic nature, with your imagination, with all your good things. You know, the left hemisphere is more about equations, more about like it's hard to explain, but left hand is just more robot-minded.
And we mentioned before about the trivia. Remember, trivial being three, and this being the three arts. Sorry to bring other people up to speed that didn't catch that conversation. But the trivia were the three arts, and then that word got changed to mean something useless, and oh, it's only trivial. But really, those are the most important things in life. Art, music, drama, being creative, creating things. We've gone from being a unit of creation that makes things and produces things to a unit of consumption. What can I have? What can I eat? What can I take? What can I get? What can I put into my body, into my brain? A friend of mine is thinking at the moment about spending over £100 on a pair of headphones just to put things into their brain. You can hear the same song whether your headphones cost £10, £100, £200. If you want to spend that much money, why not spend it on something that you can be creative with rather than just be consuming? And I think this agenda that you're talking about, this satanic agenda, just wants us to be vessels that can be filled up, that we can be programmed, we can consume, we can eat like I don't even express myself anymore online. I don't type my own views, I just click like, and I've been reduced to a robot and a binary yes or no, good, bad, smiley face, sad face. Does that resonate with you, Hannibal?
Yes, I agree 100% with that, 100%.
Wonderful. I've got some chats in here. The only answer is all weapons need to be laid down, so they ramp up the hate, then institute fear and crush your hope, causing those armed to either take an offence or defensive position. And
don't let yourself be caught up in becoming a political pawn, because all these protests that are going on, called the Black Lives Matter, is funded by George Soros, which is a Jewish capitalist billionaire.
Well, I've got to say, Hannibal, it doesn't matter what his religious background is, and I don't know that he is a follower of any of religion, regardless of his ethnicity. But you've brought his name up. He's a billionaire. He has certain agendas that he likes. And as Bill Gates said on The Simpsons, I didn't get rich cashing checks. Brian Cannot Tell is saying that he spent his youth sitting on his left hand. I'm sorry to hear that.
The movement. He's the one funding it, George Soros.
Okay. Well, that's not to detract from the reasons why people are so upset. And if you're suggesting that this is some kind of faux movement and something that you shouldn't get behind, no one would get behind it if there wasn't genuine anger and pain for what's happened.
No, listen, you're being used as a political pawn. A political pawn in order to fulfill their agenda. When you go out on the streets, you're not doing nothing for the greater good. You're actually playing into their agenda.
Okay. Well, I hope you appreciate, Hannibal, that I have to show both sides of the coin, all sides of the coin. Will is asking a question for Julian. What do you disagree with George Soros on? I'll have to research that one and give it more time. Sorry if that feels like a cop-out. I will have to make sure I've got my facts straight. And Brian Cannot Tell is saying that his school experience made him ambidextrous. He's a naturally left-handed person, I think, that was forced to use his right hand. How much more forceful can you get than obliging somebody to use the hand that they don't prefer? My goodness, we've only got two. Fi Green is agreeing with some people in the chat. Dardasha is saying, since the WhatsApp people are not talking to each other anymore. Not sure what that means. And Rob Brown is saying, this guy is clueless but thinks he knows everything. I don't know if he's talking about me or Hannibal Rustrill or could be Saj.
I don't know everything, family. I want you to know I know nothing. Okay?
Well said, Manuel.
I know nothing, okay?
Wonderful. And Will is saying, when I use my left hand, it feels like someone else is doing it. And then he winks at me. I presume he's talking about brushing his hair, which is something I've neglected to do. And there's Rob Brown saying, not me. That's okay. Yeah, goodness, we've covered a lot tonight. Give Palestine a Chance is saying, what hand is Arabic written with most? All languages are written with the right hand primarily, because most people, 90%, we're led to believe, are right-handed. It's us left-handers that are the minority. But I do find it strange that some languages are written from left to right and some are written from right to left. As a left-hander writing the Western script, I would smudge my writing. And this image is mirrored, by the way, for those that are watching and thinking I don't know my left from my right. I would smudge my writing. For Arabs in the chat or whoever, when you're writing from right to left with your right hand, do you not smudge your writing on the page? And is that not a problem for you? Saj, you can write the Arabic script, can't you? Can you read and write?
I can only read it.
Oh, you can only read it. Well, you're getting there. Dardash is saying, Brian, as a teacher, I always made sure to provide left-handed scissors and everything a left-handed person needs in a class. I hope people become more aware of simple rights. Yeah, but you gave them the left-handed scissors and they were yellow and green to humiliate them while everyone else had a normal blue pair. That is just adding to the humiliation and ostracization of the left-handed people. But I'm joking, Dardasha. Well done for being inclusive. And we're saying, why have you mirrored your video? Is it because you find your unmirrored reflection disconcerting? That you're right, actually, Will. And sometimes when I've wanted to display text, or if I've had a T-shirt with a slogan on it, it's very weird to be looking at a camera image and going that way, and then you go that way. Like when you see two mirrors and you're looking in the mirror and you're going that way and your head's going that way. And you're like, what? This is really strange. I even thought about getting a T-shirt printed with the writing on it backwards so that it would look good on the camera. Rather like when they write ambulance backwards on the vehicle so that you can read it in your rear view mirror. But talking about Hannibal, what about...
Research a bit more about the secret societies and all of that, and just come to your own conclusions. Just use your own mind.
Yeah, absolutely. We must draw our own conclusions about all things. And you know, it occurred to me today, we can have differing opinions about the truth. People are so eager to, I've got the truth. No, it's not how it happened. This is not what happened. This is what happened. You can disagree about the truth. You can disagree about the facts. And many conflicts are not actually about what happened. They're about whether or not what happened was legitimate. Here's a question from Will. Have you heard anything about the Common Purpose Organisation?
We know about Common Purpose. I know very well about them.
Over to you, Hannibal. Who are they? What are they?
This was set up a while ago, and it's an institution where they want to bring about the new world order, basically. They want to turn people into moronic robots.
I loved having a channel. It's been great.
They want to legalize homosexuality. They want to legalize pedophilia.
Well, yeah.
That's some of their goals, you know?
Goodness me. I heard today that certain relations are illegal with people that don't live in the same house as you. But if we're all still isolating, it would be difficult to arrange such a thing. I mean, you could do it in a park from 2 meters away, maybe.
Is it actually true? Because I did hear something along those lines, but I thought it was just nonsense, really.
So, well, there's a lot of truth in a lot of nonsense. Sometimes I'm just laughing at something in the chat. Yeah, I've even had memorabilia sent to me, and the name of my channel was spelt incorrectly. And Give Palestine a Chance is saying, I heard homosexuality is more common in species when there is an overpopulation. Haven't fact-checked that, though. That's very honest of you. Yes, maybe it's a natural way of culling the population. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows? My goodness. Well, look, it's been a hell of a ride. I've got to ask Saj, anything that you didn't get off your chest? Well, we've got to watch your video, Saj. Let's roll Saj's video. This is Saj outside Area 51, where the Roswell incident happened. Not really. Here it goes. You lot, I'm going to hear the audio. It'll come through when
Just left the
This is a good plug for your channel.
UFO Museum Research Center. And this is what went down, baby. It was some good shit, you know. Some interesting shit. I took some time out, a couple of minutes to read, and I got this water as well, delivering the purity you'd expect. UFO H2O.
Wow.
Preferred by aliens in all galaxies. I guess that makes me an alien today, huh?
Amazing footage here. You can catch this all on Saj's YouTube channel. What's it called, Saj?
Saj and Onion.
Yeah, and that's with an N, yeah? Saj, S-A-J, an onion. Little play on words there, and there's the
And as a neglect negative government.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alien pizza, yo.
Yeah. Do you mean negligent?
That's it. I know we do this.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Well, look.
You guys drink semi-skimmed milk or blue milk?
Do I like what?
Semi-skimmed milk or blue milk?
Do I like semi-skim milk or blue milk? I just drink whatever's in the fridge, and hopefully it's not gone off.
Has anyone in the chat, excluding the conspiracy theorists, have had the new chili con carne walkers?
There's a question. Yeah, round it up, gentlemen. You got 30 seconds. Any questions? Will's saying, how many press-ups can you do, Julian? You know what? I was doing press-ups the other day with a 3-second pause at the bottom, and I banged out I think about 18 of them. They were very tough. Yeah, I should really be doing more. Yes, they did. That's how it's all becoming halal now. Dardasha saying Lessons for Life can carry more than 50 kg, just about. And Brian Canatel saying much love everyone, always good to listen to a balanced approach, allowing ideas to be expressed. That's what we're about here. Thank you, Saj. Thank you, Hannibal Ross Trill. This has been Lessons for Life. We'll do it all again soon. We were here.
That you allowed me to express myself.
You're welcome.
I really find it very a lot of gratitude for what you do, because the fact that your profession is teaching is like, you know what I mean, it's going to be very hard to encounter this sort of information.
You're spot on.
I really appreciate that, what you're doing. You know?
You're welcome, my brother.